Noisemakers! Scaring with Sammy. Scare acting tips in under, usually, 5 minutes. This one's going to take a little bit longer. Sounds are an integral part of a haunt. We want to engage the guests on all the different senses. And scare actors are a part of that. We do it vocally, but also with noisemakers. And I have a number of them here. Noisemakers can serve so many purposes. They could be the prime scare. They could punctuate a scare. They could attract focus for a scare. They could be a distraction. They could be a character indicator, or just the ambiance. So we're going to put aside the clown horns and voice boxes and chainsaws and things like that. And we're going to play with some organic stuff today. And just to make it a little bit more fun for me, I'm going to do it in a neutral mask. Ready? Game on. The shaker. A standard shaker. This is a soda can with rocks or nuts and bolts inside, and you shake it and it makes a noise. You have all sorts of different sizes and sounds and things that you can do with them. So if you have it smaller, you can actually rig it into a prop. Actually, you can just rig up a prop separately. They can be different sizes. If you have a larger or a metal prop, you could have a metal gas tank or a tea kettle. And once again, you have not only do you have the shake, but you can also scrape it along. And that way you get double the action out of one prop. If you are going to be using a metal prop that has a handle attached to it, make sure that handle is secure, because the last thing you want is to be swinging that around and the handle breaks and you've got a large metal object full of rocks going at somebody's face. Horns and squeakers. So you can find these horns. They have all different sizes and sounds. You can rig them into props as well. These are dog toys. They make great sounds. Some of them you can even play with so you can get different types of sounds out of them. You want to talk about clown horns? This is the original OG. And 2 hard-boiled eggs. This is a chicken. You might have seen the larger sizes that make a nice sound. That's a fun sound. I have one, but unfortunately it's indisposed. Isn't that right, Gilligan? Language! So, bangers. Things that you bang into the wall. So, or whatever it is. So here, these are metal props. You've seen these before. These are the weapons. These are not the foam ones, but they make a nice sound. I'm going to talk separately about these at some point so that you're not swinging these into the walls and breaking the props, breaking the sets. There are ways to use this so that you are not a danger to yourself and to others. This is a Sammy knocker. I love these things because one of the reasons I love them is because they don't break the line of the character. You might even have noticed that I've had this on the entire time. What it is basically it's a piece of wood, and I took a foam ring and attached it to it with a little bit of foam there. Sometimes I camouflage the top of it, and once again, it's a flat surface. So even if you have those thin plywood walls, you're not going to be smacking into the wall like you might be doing with a weapon. Now, no matter what you're doing, if you're ever going to be hitting anything in the haunt, a wall or a prop or something like that, check with the director beforehand and make sure that it's sturdy enough to be able to be hit. You don't want to stick your hand through a styrofoam wall that somebody spent 3 hours on. Sorry. If your fingers are too big for those phone rings, then you can do the original style, which is a piece of elastic. This is from Egypt. It is a finger cymbal. Same thing. I used to have 2 of them. They made a nice little scraping sound as well. But even just small little objects that you can find here. It's not even big, but it has a flat surface, and you can bang it, and you can get those sounds. Oh, love this thing. This makes the best noise. Okay, well, when Marcus got his wrist stuck in the table saw, he made this incredible sound, this agonized screaming. Okay, I'm not going to get it to work this time. Actually, I hope he's not still looking for it. Anyway, oh, this is another banger, a knocker. It's a medical instrument. It's meant to hold your hand together, but once again, and you're saving and you're protecting your hands at the same time. Whistles! These are all the different things, musical instruments and whistles. Sorry, that's that's not even a whistle. That's a kazoo. This is an Aztec death whistle. I got this one from Still Pete Studios. Great noises. The only thing about some of these instruments is that you actually have to, carry them and bring them up to your mouth. So sometimes you'll have to work that into your character. Or you can build it right into the prop or the character. For example, I have one of those little whistles, and I built it right into the mask. So many things that you can be doing. So, just really fast, if you want to add a prop or something to your show, talk to the directors and the designers first, because they have themes, and sometimes it might not fit. You know, this is pre-Renaissance Italy. No, you cannot have a clown horn. But usually a knocker, a scraper, or a clicker, or something like that will just add, and designers don't always have the time to think of every single thing that every actor can use and needs, or something to enhance. So, but ask first. These are clickers. I love these clickers. These things are great for attracting attention. Let's say that you're doing a low scare, a scare on the ground. Well, if the guests never look down and never see you, well, they're missing the scare. It's not actually a scare. But a little bit of noise, they look down, oh, there's somebody there. Same thing with, this is a walrus pen I got from, some theme park or something like that. What I did was I attached it to a knife. So I'm coming out, so there's the guests, and I have this here. It's not enough for a scare, but it gets the attention. They look over, oh, there's a knife. Now, if you notice, I'm not pointing the knife at them, and I'm not even putting the blade at them. It's flat, and that way it's on the plane, and it's safe. So even if the guests turn around, it's there. All they do is see it. They're not running into it. There's a bunch of different ratchets. You can even use these as part of the character. Bells. This is a bike bell I really like. Dead ringer. All sorts of fun. If you go to like party stores and things like that, they have larger bells. Things that you can do. Oh, and while we're talking about sports, those bells for sports activities, there are all sorts of noisemakers that you can use for sports. This is an air horn. This is a disposable prop because, after 5,000 people in a night, you're gonna have to refill it. Probably get expensive. I've never actually used one more than one night. This is a fun thing that I found in Japan. I guess that's how it's used. I'm not really sure, but once again, it's a sports noisemaker. While you're in the sports store, you also have different other things that you can use. For example, in the hunting section, they have all different calls. So there's duck calls and turkey calls and squirrel calls. And I just recently found out about this thing. I'm still working on it. Like I said, I need a little bit of practice, but it's another thing. It's another idea. And once again, it's the imagination that fuels this. I'm not really sure what this is, but it doesn't make a loud enough sound to really get a scare. But I'm pretty sure I could use it as a character bit. This is a fan. I started using this around 20 years ago with a fire magic show that I did. So this is, in fact, a lot of these props are actually older than a lot of the scare actors that we actually have. This is a slapstick that I put together based off the old style from the Commedia dell'arte. Basically, it's two pieces of wood or metal or plastic, whatever, with a fulcrum. And what's great about it is that the sound that it makes is disproportionate to the amount of force that I use. So I don't have to hit it very hard, and it makes a great noise. If you are the type of person that swings these things around, all willy-nilly, with as much power as you want, don't use things like this. Don't use things that require form or technique. In fact, don't be swinging things full strength anywhere, because there's never a need for that. There's always techniques to do it better in much safer ways. Here's another version of it. Basically, it's a fan. And finally here, I have this. Not really sure. It makes a noise. I'm going to come up with something, because that's what this is all about. It's about using your imagination, finding things that work, that make different sounds, and you could create all sorts of amazing sounds for a character, for scares, or whatever you need, because it's all about the imagination. This has been Scaring with Sammy.